Well, good morning, everyone. This is Kiwi from outside of Atlanta, and just going to take you on a quick garden tour this morning. It's early June, and we are looking at Leyland cypresses or thujas. I've had two opinions from two different arborists about what these are, but this is about the perils of planting these things too close together. So I've pruned these because the bottom branches were so thin that stuff like this here is basically what we were looking at on 3 to 4 inch branches. And also like this. So you got this tiny bit of weedy, thin green going back. And as I look over my neighbor's driveway, it gives you kind of an idea, and these are better specimens than what I previously took out, but how much you can see through these things if they aren't given their full potential to spread out and get dense foliage. So it's just, a lot of brown with dieback, and then you get a bushy green end, but everything down the bottom was always so thin that there was really no point to it. We were just looking at a whole bunch of brown branches. So I've trimmed it out, so now we at least sort of have a canopy here. And we're underplanting with gardenias from cuttings. And these were just put in last year. And we already have flower buds. So they're doing okay in here. Another flower bud. Now these will basically get no direct sunlight except maybe a sliver in the very late afternoon when it comes from there. Now if I was doing this all from scratch, I would put Italian cypresses in here if I wanted a 5-foot spacing, and not these 20 plus spread cypresses that they've done here. Like this one here has basically no growth. It's getting enveloped by the cypresses on either side, and it can't produce anything because it doesn't have any sunlight. So these all, I was actually looking at taking these trees out and starting again, but we'll keep them around for a little bit longer. And I've got probably a dozen gardenias, little cuttings that my wife's put on the ground here, and we'll see how those take. The front yard's slowly waking up for summer. Our black and blue salvias. Gorgeous colors on these. Beautiful. Strawberry vanilla hydrangea. Ours is actually doing better than what the tag said. It said about 6 feet high and about 6 to 7 feet wide. I mean, we're looking at about 8 feet wide and about 6'4" at the moment, I think. But this thing puts out beautiful panicle flowers in the summertime. Gardenias, hibiscus. And this is actually supposed to be the largest hydrangea we have. It's PG. This thing can get up to 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet. And that's about 3 years old. Balloon flowers just starting to open. Cone flowers. My wife's plantings of little 4 o'clocks. And agapanthus. Gonna get a good bunch of flowers out of these this year. Yeah, it's strange. The first year we put them in, we had a really good show. Second year, I think we had 2 flowers, and we're looking at about 24 flower heads that I've counted on these 3 so far this year, so I'm happy. Take you around the back. We put in all this gravel for the kitchen garden and the raised beds. This was some very average grass, and this is the natural way the water comes off the backyard and goes out to the street, so this was never great. And I was like, screw it, we'll put some gravel here and own it. And this is the backyard. This is about 98% weeds when we bought the house. What are we looking at? 5 years ago now. And I did as much landscaping as I could back here before playing around with the lawn. Because why would you put a lawn in and then be wheelbarrowing rocks and mulch and everything else through it? So the lawn is we're about 3 years old now. And we're getting there. It's all mixed fescue. We deal with quite a bit of shade. Now, we had real shade when we bought the house. I mean, this twin oak here and that twin oak, these are water oaks, but they're growing together. And when we bought the house, the tree branches were drooping down to here. You could walk face first into them. And I was like, oh, I want to have more garden back here, so we've got to open this space up. This is a very sad little area. There's some very uncared for boxwoods. We took the ones out here and planted hydrangeas and hostas. This is the east side of the house. We kept these 3 because they gobble up a lot of water that comes down to this area. And we've been steadily planting the slope here. We got 2 pink pampas grasses, assorted dahlias, false cypress, mini limelights, and this rather fabulous daylily. Now, this didn't exist here on our property for the first 2 years, and then one day it just sort of popped up out of the ground, and we've been enjoying it since. I love it. Great color. Various camellias that'll grow up and hide the fence. Nandinas. That's a buckeye bush. And we planted some naturally occurring in the yard, Virginia creeper, and encouraged it to go up the tree, so I really like that, and it gives a gorgeous show in the fall. They go really dark reds. I'll sway the foxgloves that my wife's just trimmed this morning. We cultivated seeds out of them. A lot of people have trouble with foxgloves, but this is horrible soil here. It was the most compacted soil on the whole property. And we bought some sickly on sale foxgloves. They were about 5 inches tall. Brought them home, put them in the ground, gave them a little bit of fertilizer, and boom. And they have just, self-seeded and spread throughout here. And in the spring, this is absolutely gorgeous. So these are like Dalmatian type. The sad area under the hammock is just waiting for lumber prices to come back down to normal, and I'll build another small deck to put the hammock on. Trusty compost. Man, I don't know how somebody who gardens doesn't have compost. It's worth its absolute weight in gold, that stuff. We have improved the soil here so much, and also from having mulch down. These are George Tabor azaleas. These things will get up to 8 feet tall and about 6 feet wide. Fatsia japonicas here. These are great shade plants. These you can train into a bush or a tree. I've seen examples of them online where they're over 10 feet. Or you can top them and they'll stay around 5 to 6 feet and go out to about 10 feet wide. I'm just letting them go at the moment to see how I like their shape as they progress. These ferns have done great for us. These are the autumn fire, I think, ferns. Super drought tolerant, which I love. It means we don't have to keep babying them. Various hydrangeas, lungoworts. These are great plants. I really like these in a woodland setting as well, and I love the foliage. It's interesting. They put out on these here whole clusters of little baby pink and blue flowers. Got Siberian bugloss or bugloss there. And a type of begonia that should be flowering for the first time this year. Got a little group in there. I think they're orangey yellow in color, if I remember right. Now the bare spaces, I'm waiting for propagations of white azaleas to balance out the blue that we've got going on. And, obviously none of this existed when we bought the property. It was all craziness like that. Actually, ours was heavier than that. So it was all bramble, some type of ivy, poison ivy. Yeah, it was just an absolute mess. Absolute mess. I came through here and hacked that thing to death with a machete by hand. And then hand wheelbarrowed in all this mulch, the rock. And planned out these garden beds. I have no idea what type of hydrangea this is. I think we picked this one up at the supermarket, and it was just, hydrangea on the tag. Look at that color. Love that one. It's my favorite one in the whole yard. Little supermarket find. And my other favorite hydrangeas here, this is a snowfall hydrangea that does really well in shade. It's just pure white, which is great for lighting up darker areas. I've propagated some of it, and I'm going to be putting it back in here to help lighten up that area. A lovely Merit Supreme, and little hybrid hellebores that are still putting flower buds out. These are winter bloomers. I can't figure it, but I'll take it. Oak leaf hydrangeas. These are endless summers. Now this is an endless summer as well. There was a cutting off that one, so you can see the difference of 3 to 4 feet. One's acid soil, one's more alkaline. I really like them. These wonderful Appletini hookers. These great red plumes. And yes, I've taken out some trees and haven't had to buy firewood since we bought the house 5 years ago. So my dump pile over here, I'll let that dry out a bit, and I'll use that in the fire pit. These are lamiums. These are supposed to be a little tricky here in Georgia, but we've had really good luck with them. They're looking a little spent now because most of their flowers are gone, but these are the flowers they put out, and in bigger clusters than that. And it's a great shade plant. The nice light foliage really brightens the area up. These are Fuji waterfall hydrangeas. And they start off with the most pure white, and then they start taking on either a little bit of blue or a little bit of pink, depending on what the soil is. And I have 2 of them. That one actually has more blue in it, so it must be more acidic over here for some reason. A really neat petal shape. And I'm creating a natural fence line through here with plants. Been transporting or transplanting various things back here. This is a Bobo hydrangea. We've got our gold dusts, gardenias. These gardenias are doing great, man. These were cuttings from a friend of ours. I think they had 2 leaves each when we got them. Put them in a glass of water, let them get some roots, whack them in the ground. I mean, until this past fall, these were basically in shade all day. Last fall, I took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more trees back here, so that we can get this morning light. And everything's sort of taking off more now. I mean, there's shade happy plants, but it's amazing, man. They can have too much shade. Just getting that extra, 2 to 3 hours a day has really bumped up their growth. White astilbe, Solomon's seal that pops up naturally. This is a sassafras tree that popped up naturally as well, and another one. I like these. A nice shape, got really cool shaped leaves, and they don't create enormous shade, which is good. It's just more sort of dappled. Pieris, these put out gorgeous little white bell-shaped flowers and long clusters. And this is one of those little dwarf hydrangeas that recently came out. I think it's called Wee White. Great as a border. So this is what I've been doing. Clearing out forest and putting in a woodland garden. We've spent a lot of time out here just enjoying the view back here, going back towards the house. Give it another 3 to 5 years for everything to fill in. That'll be really nice back here. Alright, that's all from me for now. I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye.